sisters with me.
Hey, hey, hey! You are now tuned into the second episode of Ladies Night Radio Show. Woo, 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 woo! It is your girl, Mysterious Jax, and I got my girl, Mari, on the mic here.
Hey, hey, happy Friday.
Happy Friday, feliz viernes,
We made
for
it.
my bilingual listeners.
Yes, es viernes y el cuerpo lo sabe.
Hey, that's right, that's right. And today we have a special guest.
Drum roll.
Do-do-do-do. I should have a drum roll,
Yeah.
right?
Can we hear that?
I don't know if I have a drum roll.
Am I dinging? I'm trying.
I'll do a bell. Boom.
Ooh,
Okay.
Your class is in session. You're going to learn today.
I'm learning over here the board. I'm doing everything. I don't have Dash here. Shout out to Dash. I didn't appreciate you enough. Our special guest today is the lovely, lovely Anna Martinez. Yay!
Yay. We going to put that clap in there?
You know, wait, hold on. I have to unmute you.
We're bringing all the big bosses today.
That's right. She's also my sister. Say what's up, Anna.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm happy to be here. It feels like ladies' night. I got all dressed up. We got the wine here. We got all kinds of stuff. It's exciting.
Thanks to my amazing producer, Kosi.
Yes, Kosi.
We have all the goods right here on the table. We have whatever your choice is. You want champagne, you want wine, you want some hard liquor stuff, some Jack Daniels.
I brought
Do you
some
like
homemade
salty
cookies.
treats? You like sweet treats?
Well, Anna brought the snacks. Anna brought the
Yeah.
homemade cookies. And
That's why we invited her.
Clearly, I was
chips.
going to the wrong kind of party.
She brought her slippers.
Right. So it's all good. We have a good crowd right now going, and I'm really excited to have Anna. She has been supporting me of my radio journey and my crazy ways for a very, very long time.
I love you, sis.
Love you too. So I'm excited that everybody's here. How was your week, Mari?
It was good. I'm just thankful Thanksgiving is coming up. Just teacher perspective wise, it's going to be a good time to just relax and enjoy all the progress.
Oh, that's right. How long of a break do you get?
We get a week, so it's the next week, but we're counting, girl.
Ooh,
I can't lie. We're counting.
excited. Are you cooking anything for Thanksgiving?
No, but I'm going to show up and bring all my good energy. So you're welcome.
Wow.
Sign me up.
That's hilarious. My week was good. On Monday, I actually had to go to the DMV because I've been knowing, since the Beyonce concert, I lost my ID and I haven't.
We got
That
questions.
was in the summer, Jax.
We got questions.
No, that was not in the summer.
I'm
That was
pretty
like
sure.
September.
End of summer?
Did you black out? No, I'm just kidding.
No, I just lost it. I don't even know when I lost it. Anyways,
Story of her life.
Yeah.
Right. So I was like, whatever. I have this old ID and I have my passport somewhere in there, but I can't find my passport right now. And I realized I'm leaving. I'm traveling to Texas at the end of this month, and I'm pretty sure I need my ID.
Yes.
So I went Monday to get that, and long story short, I finally got it. Well,
It takes
I got
a
the
long
paperwork.
time.
No,
Inglewood.
they said 7 to 10 business days.
Oh. No, but waiting.
Oh,
there.
waiting? Yeah, I was there for at least half a day for sure.
You got to
that
bring
sucks.
magazines. You got to bring your favorite blanket.
I know. It was
Positive
so bad.
energy.
It was so
Yeah.
bad. And then I had a story. So we're going to go into story time. Yay. The
Story
first
time.
segment of the show. I love story time. What'd you say, Keith? Keith is in here laughing at me. Well, I was going to say a story, but then it changed because obviously things happen in the world. So I wanted to share another story. Current events, yeah. And so like you guys know, Wednesday night, Thursday morning, there was a mass shooting in Thousand Oaks. 12 people died. One of them being somebody that it's like his name was Cody. I think everybody saw that story that the father was crying. First he was looking for him, and then he found out that he was one of the victims that died. And so his mom, Cody's mom, actually plays in the same softball world that I do in the league in Culver City. And it's crazy how the world connects you. So she used to play on the Monday team that I play now because so I guess she left. They needed girls, and now I ended up on the team. So if anybody's in the Culver City or Culver City world, softball world, make sure you guys try to join the fundraiser they're doing. They're having like a softball game to raise money.
Support.
So that'd be really helpful. but yeah, so it's, sending our condolences and our prayers and thoughts to everybody. It is a very, very serious issue here that, that we need to take more serious of these mass shootings.
Yeah.
I don't have the answers. I know I have my perspectives. That's for another show, but I definitely want you guys to think about that. And the story kind of connects with that because shootings don't just end that night or because they're not on the media. So a lot of these kids that survived that, a lot of the people that were there survived it, are still going to have to deal with the traumatic feelings that they have afterwards. Right. And so the story is going to be a little bit about that because it's going to talk about, so the story is about my situation that I had with gun and like the traumatic that I still carry from that. And I just want to do a disclaimer. I don't want to make it clear that I am not trying to compare my story to any of the mass shootings, and I also hope I don't offend anybody by speaking about my story too soon or whatnot. But it's just more so to share my story of the traumatic that I still carry after just guns in general.
Well, sis, when trauma happens, it makes you reconnect to trauma that has happened in your own life. So
yes.
It's understandable.
And it allows us to really empathize with other people and connecting and making those connections of our own.
Yes. And so that's why I definitely wanted to talk about it.
Right.
So, as you know, that being in the news, I definitely wanted to share the story in story time. So, I'll try to make it quick. So pretty much, I was asking my sister on the drive over here because, the thing is, we got robbed at gunpoint, and I was like, I forgot what age this happened, and so I thought I was 9, but Anna reminded me that she was 15.
Right.
So that means I was 13 when this happened.
13,
I was 13, and then Maria was with us, and she was 18.
Yeah.
So it was us 3, and Maria will be here later, and then my 2 little brothers.
3 little brothers, 3 of them.
Oh, all 3 of them were with us?
All
I thought it was
them.
just Junior and Rigo.
No,
so Junior, see, obviously I had thankful for her because I have the worst memory. So my 3 little brothers were with us, and it was my mom and dad. So it was my mom, my dad, Maria, Anna, me, Rafa, Junior, and Rodrigo. And we were going to do a road trip to Mexico. So we started getting all the things in the car and piling them up. And so I don't know if you remember this, but my dad, actually, he gave me his leather jacket. As we're packing everything up, he hands me his leather jacket, and he's like, put it behind my seat. And I grab it, and I put it behind my seat. And he's like, wait a minute, give it back to me. Right. And he like grabs it, and he kind of like shakes it and weighs it like, what's going on? So he starts checking the pockets, and in one of the pockets, he pulls out a handgun. And I'm like, Dad, what the heck? And he just starts laughing. He's like, imagine I'm taking this to Mexico on the border or whatever. And it was like a joke. Haha. And I was like, all right, we'll put that away. And so we continue the packing. We get on the road. We're, road tripping as family road trips go. And fast forward, we're in Mexico. It's about 3 or 4 in the morning. Right. My mom is driving.
3 days of driving.
3 days of driving.
Right.
And so we were tired. Day. We're in a van. There's all of us. We're packed in there with our stuff. And we were driving to my dad's hometown. That was... What was
Durango,
it?
Mexico.
Durango, Mexico. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve. See, thanks for the details. Like, I really would really have like the worst memory. But so we're all tired. It's like my mom and dad were the only ones switching from driving, and it was my mom's turn. My dad was sleeping, and it was about 3 or 4 in the morning. Who was awake? Do you remember, Anna?
I was awake with my mom.
And everybody else was sleeping?
Everybody else was asleep.
So that sounds about right. And so all of a sudden, we all get woken up to my mom waking up my dad saying, hey, I'm getting pulled over. I'm getting pulled over. Mm-hmm. And so we all wake up, and me and you were sitting in the middle seat, I believe. I think probably with Junior or somebody. And the rest of them were in the back, Maria, Rafa, or Rigo and stuff. And so we get pulled over, and my dad is like probably saying like, well, what did you do? That's something he would say. And my mom's like, I did nothing. Like, I'm just pulling over. And so we have the lights. It's pitch black. And all of a sudden, the man walks to my mom's window. She's in the driver's side, and taps the window and whatever. He puts the window down, and then there's another man that comes up to my dad's side of the van, and I believe I forgot what they asked.
They asked how many men do you have?
No,
in the
but
car?
Okay. Well, they said something else before that, but I think they probably like, where are you guys coming from? Where you headed? Like the normal things that police officers ask. And then the first thing that I remember is that they said, how many men are in the vehicle? And so my dad right away goes, I'm the only man. The rest of them are my sons, their kids, and my daughters, and my wife. And so he's like, all right. And so he's like, step out of the car. So my dad steps out, and somehow, I don't know, but my mom and my dad ended up on the opposite sides of the car. So my dad ended up on the driver's side, and my mom ended up on the passenger side. And then I remember my mom was looking for like the birth certificates because the guy was asking for them. And then on my dad's side, so my dad wore jeans, and then on top of his jeans he wore like these Nike sweats, like windbreaker sweats. And so he was like in his pocket, and he was pulling out his wallet and his cash that he had. And for some reason my dad had cash on him, which was about $3,000 of cash. And he puts it on the seat. But before that happens, my sister Maria from the back was like, Jackie, switch seats with me. So she comes to the front, or the middle seat where I was sitting, and I go to the back. And she's 18 at this point, so she's like the oldest one. And so she is, I guess her and my dad made eye contact. So she reached for my dad's wallet and the cash. As soon as she reached for it, the man draws his gun and points it and was like, stop it, leave it alone, and sit back. And all this in Spanish, of course. And so then as soon as he pulled out his gun, the other guy pulls out his gun on my mom. So now both men have both of their guns pointed at both of our parents. So in all the kids, us being like worried, like we all start like yelling, like, what? No, like stop. And so we're all like kind of screaming and like worrying. And so then my sister, I really know that she's like the one that saved our lives that night, because she was talking to the man very calmly and was trying to convince him, like, look, fine, take it, please don't hurt us. Just we're a family, just traveling just to visit, my dad's hometown. Like, she was talking to this man like so genuinely, so like, and so calmly. That's what I remember. And it's just, imagine like you as kids have both of your parents with guns at them. So we're like freaking out. So my sister just walked in, and speaking of her, and she literally was like the calmest, and she was only 18 at this time,
right? And
she was talking to them. My sister just walked in. I'm telling a story about when we got robbed at gunpoint, and I'm telling them the part where you were talking to the police officer. What was going on through your head when you were talking to the police officer when they had guns at both of my parents?
Honestly, I don't think that they were police officers.
Well, no,
they were
obviously.
Part of the cartel, which is like a Mexican mafia gangster type of thing.
But they were in uniform and everything.
They were in uniform, and they were actually driving a cop car.
Yeah, and they had like the lights that pulled us over.
A lot of cops had sold out.
Yeah.
Some cops had sold out, especially in that town.
Yeah.
And so it was like no houses around. It was an empty road. And I think it was because she pleaded with them, and they had like a little huddle in the back of the car.
Human connection.
Yeah, because they made both of our parents like get down on their knees in front of the car, and my dad was talking smack back to them, and I think she got to one of them, and the other one was just like, let's just take all their stuff and leave them there.
Mm-hmm. They took my mom's purse. They had all our birth certificates, all my brother's medicine because he was sick at the time, my dad's cash and wallet, everything, and they took the car keys. They took the car keys and left us stranded. Luckily, my mom had a spare hidden in the car.
Lucky. That woman plans for everything.
Yeah,
That's true.
She knew that was going to happen.
She has 8 kids.
She was looking at your dad like, I told you this was going to happen. She knew. But yeah, that's something that like you didn't even have to hear it being fired. There was really no violence, but just like the threat alone was so traumatic. Like I can't even fathom like feeling like being in a place where those shots are going off and feeling like, what can I do to make it?
What's funny is that at that time they were doing a lot of this, but I guess we were one of the fortunate ones, because from my understanding, right before we left, my mom was like, no te lleves ni unas joyas, deja todo en el carro, which means that don't take no jewelry, leave everything at your home. I say carro, but at your house. And, I just remember it was 4 a.m., the drive there. It was like a nightmare all the way around. Yes, they had guns to their head at, different times. There was a younger one, and it almost seemed like he was new to this, and he knew what he was doing was not right, because he seemed like he had some type of heart. The older one was the one that seemed like he was more, he had done this before, and he actually was the one that had my dad. And the other one was the one that had my mom. My plea to them was sitting in the second seat, because I did listen to this as I was driving. I was trying to get there because I was like, oh, they don't have it right. But we all have our own stories because we all lived it differently. But it was Jackie and Anna that were sitting in the second seat with Junior, who was asleep. And when we got pulled over, I just remember my mom's words to me, and I said, oh my God, this is really happening. Right. So I woke up Junior and I said, switch seats with me. So I got in the middle. Immediately I started shoving stuff underneath the seat, like the video camera. I just remember, taking off my chains and putting them in my shoe, And it was like a lot of pleading throughout the whole situation. Like, don't you guys have kids? And just seeing the guy, because, you know, my dad's the type of man that he always carried cash with him. And it was not just like your normal $20, but he always had like sweatpants over his jeans.
Yeah, I said that.
So he had that in his jeans, and the man told him to take his money out, and he put it, you know, on the driver's side, and
For
I
you to
tried
take it.
to get it.
Yeah.
And when I got it, the man actually pulled the gun on my head.
Yeah.
And I just kind of stepped, you know, like sat back, and then he grabbed it, and I said, Dad, he's taking the money immediately, which was something wrong with me, because the instinct of my dad was like to become a superhero, and he like launched at him. And when he cocked that gun on my dad, it was like just horrific for me. Like,
all of us.
I will never forget that day.
How long do you think that the whole ordeal happened?
At least, for me, it felt eternity, but I would say like maybe 10 minutes. Like, it just had to be quick.
Yeah, it was like 10, 15 minutes at the most.
And he just grabbed the money, and that was it. He grabbed the money, he grabbed the key, and it's almost like they knew that back then those minivans had like a little I don't know what you call it, that you had, no, not hot wire, a little thing that you had to put to turn it on. So he grabbed both, and he took off. He got in the car, and they drove off, and then my dad's like, give me the keys, and my mom's trying to get him out her purse, and she immediately turned the car on, and he just like hit the pedal to the metal and started chasing them. No lights. It was just like one way there, one way back, just rushing him. And my mom and I are telling him, like, Dad, like, just let them go, like, let them take it. But it was something inside my dad that he just couldn't see that happen. Like,
very cobardes, right? We don't like that.
So, I mean, that's just a story that we experienced. There's obviously more details to that, but it's just, I wanted to talk about this because I wanted to make it a point that we, even as adults, we still talk about this. It's like it still affects us. And so everybody that's like, you know, talking about like the laws of gun, I don't want to get too much into it because that's a whole nother show, but just know that it doesn't end there. These kids, these people, they're going to have to live with that for the rest of their life, and they're going to have to just seek counseling. And I think that we had each other to talk about it, and the more we talk about it, it's more like therapeutic for us, but it's something that we've had to hold for so long and continue to hold, and just it's very traumatic. So just, you know, just be there for the loved ones, and we're going to send our love and prayers and condolences to everybody that was affected by the Thousand Oaks shooting and any shooting that's been going on in America. Like, I saw a post that it's only been 311 days, and there's been 307 mass shootings. So that's something to think about. I definitely want you guys to take that. And
love to them and their families.
Yeah,
right now that trauma is real.
So that's why you got to vote, y'all. Sorry, you got to put that plug in there. You got to do a lot more than pray these days. And you just got to do work.
Be active. Educate. Agitate.
So my producer is telling us to wrap it up, y'all. So
she's trying to hit us.
But before I wrap it up, I want to give a quick shout out to everybody that's in the chat box. I see you guys. Hey. Oh my God, thank you. We have Ashley Baylor up there, Jackie Woo Woo, I see you. Kathy, Lupe. We got Erica Aguilar. I see you, girl. Hi, Viviana.
Hey, Vivi.
Kathy Ceci. I see you. Calvin, I see you. And Kathy goes, listening from the Bay. I love listening to your stories because it makes me feel less alone as a Latina woman.
We love you, Kathy.
We love you, Kathy.
Yes,
girl.
Yeah.
Hashtag me siento bien.
And,
so
can I just plug in? I just love that Jackie starts off at each show with a story. I think growing up in a family of 10, my dad definitely every night, no matter what time he got home, gathered us around the table and would tell us a story, sometimes repeating the stories. However, I think it's culturally relevant that you are starting the show with a story. Good job, sis.
I love story sharing. I love hearing stories, and I love sharing them. Kelvin asked who robbed us, and we got robbed in Mexico. We think my sister thinks it was a cartel, but I think it was the police officers that were being paid by the cartel. So that's kind of like still, our theories.
Well, that's a question because we did go to the police station, and they were like, "Oh no, we don't have nobody."
Right? Come on now, we're not gonna believe that. And then we have Myra. Hey, Myra, I see you. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to go ahead and go into our second our second segment. Yeah, sorry, I know. I'm like trying to find all the sound effects and everything. So this second segment is called Game Night. That's right. Game time.
TGIF. Ooh, se trajo su botella. Everybody ready?
Why are you telling on me, Marty? Why are you telling
They didn't know it was you, though, and now you told on yourself.
Well, I was the last one that came in, and you just mentioned it.
And because last week's game went so well, I brought it back. It's called Truth or Shot.
Hey.
Oh my God, yeah. So truth or shot, and so pretty much the game is simple. You either answer the question honestly and truthfully, or you take a shot. And because there's so many choices, you can choose your liquor or wine. So yeah, let's go. Because who should we make go first? Maddie, I'll let you go first, and then we're gonna make our guest of honor go first. I mean, after you.
Wait, what?
Okay.
Yeah, this is a game. What's going on?
Okay.
Stay in here.
So as this is going on, can I just say I love you, Erica? Because she just shouted me out.
Did she really?
Yeah.
Aww. Go
And
for
notice
it.
I'm not getting muted, so I kind of worked on the way here.
Working on her privileges.
So for those of you that missed last week's show, I had to mute Maria's mic a few times
That did
because
not
she
stop
was
her.
too loud. I had to mute her. She was just being too loud. But
Okay,
you're
I'm not
learning.
excited.
we all
right
have
now.
that one tia.
Jackie
though,
just gave me like the
and now she's
Bring it down.
trying to fight her. She's trying to fight
No,
me,
I'm
sir.
just saying I'm not
Maria.
excited right now, but when I do get excited, it's just something.
Sis, I know, but you're like excited 90%
I was
of the
listening
time.
to 94.7 here the whole time because the DJ there is like talks like this.
Yeah, the wave.
Yes.
We don't.
So I'm like,
It's fine. You can say it, but we at the Good News radio station.
Can I switch seats? Because I just feel like I'm going to be getting hit by Anna throughout the whole show.
Good.
Like,
She should hit
look,
you, keep
I'm
you
gonna
on
give-
check.
I'm going to give you the look.
All
Just
right.
no more drinks because
You just
All right.
served
drinking, she
yourself
ain't
one.
drinking.
All right. So Mari's gonna go first. Go ahead, choose a question. And so Mari
Right.
is gonna say the question out loud on the mic, and she has to answer the question, or she has to take a shot. So, all right, Mari, go. What's your
God.
question?
It says the biggest lie you've ever told your BF or your GF.
Oh, that's the one. Okay. All right.
You know what? I'm just gonna take this shot.
Oh.
Can we rewind last week's show?
No.
Hey!
Oh my God.
The truth hurts. The truth
Oh,
hurts.
shout out to
Yes,
Jason and
auntie.
Alex who just walked into the studio.
Hey,
guys. Come to the mic real quick and say hi to the
Yes,
people.
Alex, while you were laughing on the
know
Facebook
you
post
want to,
about me
Jason.
being
Come on.
muted, come speak, please.
What's up to everybody at the
Hey.
Good News? Jay Shoemake.
Oh, that's a sexy voice.
Yes, good radio voice.
Got a little Barry White up at me. I practiced when I came in.
That's Jason. That's my softball teammate, my
He's been
family.
practicing. He's been practicing.
Hi, Alex.
Hi there, good evening.
Oh.
Say hi.
So classy.
Hello, this is Alex.
Hey, Alex. Does Jason always have that voice, or is it just when he sees a mic?
Just when he's wrong.
No, just on the mic.
Okay. all right. So you are. I want to. We are tongue twisting. You are a registered nurse, or you're a nurse, and I wanted to just put that out there because of the topic that we're going to talk about, code switching. So I definitely want to hear about you later on the code switching. So.
Okay.
And I want you to share your stories because you always share good stories with me. So, but right now, first we're gonna play a game. And so Mari just went, and she didn't answer it, so she took a shot. So, can you get her a shot because she's gonna be playing too? But Anna, you're next.
Oh, I'm
you ready?
next.
All right,
Okay,
pick a question.
So, pick a question. All right, sis. Can I look at the question? No. Oh.
You should go first.
Too late.
Have you? Is this an appropriate question?
Yes.
Who chose this question?
We're an 18 and over crowd, so give it to
Yeah.
us.
Have you ever peed on yourself?
Really?
Who wrote this?
Tell us.
That's easy. No, I have not peed on myself.
Are you sure?
Unless my sister Sandra's listening, and maybe when I was a baby, I have no
Yeah,
idea.
Sandra,
Yeah.
come through.
Sandra,
Yeah, Sandra.
we're just missing one of the sisters.
Yeah, I'm sure you
Who
have.
wrote these questions?
I'm asked.
That's hilarious.
That was easy.
She's lying. She's peed on herself. She is so
That's so
lying.
inappropriate. Shout out if my bosses are listening.
That
Sorry,
sound
that's
effect.
not true.
Sometimes there's bladder incontinence,
right.
and it's
Yes.
okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It happens. And now that we're getting older, it's
Traffic?
happening more and more.
Depends. That's why they got depends. You got to depend on
I
it.
can't laugh
you know?
too hard, you know?
You know, the sphincter may not be working.
All right, Alex,
Gotta wear
you're
black
next.
pants all the time.
Okay, Alex.
Alex
go.
is next.
A blank stick.
No.
No questions.
You got to tell us your deepest, darkest secret if you get that one.
think I have one.
Get closer to the mic.
Okay, let's see. Oh, what? Most embarrassing thing done while drunk.
So answer the question or take the shot. What are you gonna do?
Okay, I can answer this question.
Oh,
Hey.
I like it.
She's bold.
That's what's up.
She's bold. I like her.
You tell the rest of the story.
So, well, while I'm drunk, a lot of times I don't remember a lot of things.
I mean, okay,
drunk.
that makes sense.
We can agree.
So I took off my clothes and was in a jacuzzi.
Oh,
Is it your neighbor's jacuzzi or yours?
No, it wasn't my neighbors. It was a couple that I had just met that night.
Wow.
Look at Jason's
Look at Jason's.
face. Oh, Jason,
He's
I want
taking
you to
notes.
play. Jason,
so,
come out
I'm
here.
sorry, I have to say this. My best friend just texted me and said, I should have said no, I've never peed on myself, but someone has peed in my car.
No
No names. No names.
We gotta get her to drink, and then we'll find out the name.
All right, give him the mic real quick so he can see it. This, Jason, you're going to play it. So remember, you have to answer it. No, flip it. Flip it.
Ladies' night.
That's
It
all right.
says, have you ever eaten someone's?
Read the entire question. That's not appropriate.
Wait, say it again. I can
Stop
get
like
closer
that.
to the mic.
That's not okay.
It says, have you ever eaten someone's lunch at work?
Oh, okay.
You can't keep that pause. You can't keep doing that.
Have you ever eaten someone's lunch at work?
I would probably say,
You stole somebody's lunch?
yes, I have.
Like you literally went into the fridge and took their work.
That was so wrong.
No, it was either going to get thrown away, and I was super hungry that day, so I decided to eat it. And I don't know who it was.
Honestly, for those of us that meal prep, that would have driven me nuts.
Yeah.
It was some type of Filipina, Ponzit,
Oh, God.
lumpia,
That's so messed
but
up.
it was after a drunk night,
Jason.
going to work the next day just hungry, and you really don't care what you eat.
Alex is giving you the side eye right now.
Whether they wanted it or not, when I'm at work, it's all about me. And if you leave it in the fridge,
Clearly, it was the nurse's refrigerator.
Was it labeled?
it probably was. But when you still hungover from the night before, you do irrational things.
Wow, Jason.
Jason,
I did pray.
he prayed over it and everything, and then ate it.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Okay, so I'm gonna do one more, even though my producer's telling me not to. I'm gonna do the last one.
Hurry, because I'm not gonna stop her for long. I'm weak.
Brazilian wax or 3 months without facial waxing. Brazilian wax, of course.
Oh,
It doesn't even hurt that bad. It does not hurt that bad.
The sugar one, not so much.
It does not hurt that bad, y'all. I'm sorry. So going back to the chat box, we got Sharika in there. She said, Jason, stop. Oh my God. Okay, so let's see. Nobody else took a shot. Just Madi.
Just
Marty.
me. The Lone Ranger. Hey,
right.
Boom. All right.
Sister sitting next to
I
me.
almost
now.
feel like we should take a group shot.
I
I
love
know
my
that's
sis.
a college thing, but
Okay, we
para el
can.
ambiente, you
Ladies'
know?
night.
Ladies' night. We made it to Friday, y'all. Wherever you are, you made it.
That's right. And so that ends game night, game time. Yay! And now we're going to go into the topic of the night. Oh, but before we do, we're going to go take a shot.
Yes.
Right? All right.
Yes, let's take one together.
Cheers. Salud. You know what that's saying?
Yes.
All right. Pa arriba.
Pa abajo, pa el centro, pa dentro.
Hey!
I just want to say everybody looks really cute tonight.
Aw.
Yeah, you all look cute. And you two back here, too, Jason and Keith. You look so cute.
Everybody looks
Jason
so
already
nice.
knows he's dancing.
I love it when girls look so cute.
Yeah.
I
Or
love
like
it.
when you you know that they feel cute and you're like,
Well,
yes, boo.
You put in the time.
Yeah.
You want someone to say, you look cute, boo. I love the makeup because you know that took
Oh,
time.
I see you, in the girls' bathroom, and you're like, you look so good, girl. You don't even know each other.
I think that's what's happening right now, Madi.
Yeah.
Anna's feeling the drinks.
And I'm like, girl, you look good.
She's like, y'all look good. You look
Yeah,
good.
you look good.
Jackie,
Everybody
everybody
looks
looks beer goggles.
No. What I'm saying is that
Maybe.
I think my makeup does.
No, you do. You look flawless.
Her makeup is flawless.
It's the lighting, though.
I was
Trust
like,
me.
wait, what's wrong with her?
No, you guys do look good. What I'm saying is you get more outspoken when you get
Jackie's
some
throwing
drinks in you.
shade.
I
I'm
know.
always outspoken.
Hold on.
I'm a Martinez. We're always outspoken.
Man, I'm getting called out of my own show, y'all.
You better keep it rolling.
What's going on in the chat box?
Little sister.
She said yes, group
sister.
shot.
Somebody help me in the chat
Get
box.
to the topic.
Angie says, "Yay, group shots! Woo! That's right, Angie. You're gonna be here once taking a shot with us."
Yeah, so you're gonna do the grito because I know you love to give it.
Shout
Whoa.
out to Angie, Karina, and Monica who are listening. Those are my three
Hey,
best
hey.
friends. I love them.
Hey.
We love you. Thank you for your support.
Okay, so we're gonna go into code switching. Pretty much, we're gonna go over like the definition, reasons why people code switch, the first 8 places we code switch at. Can code switching and authenticity coexist? Are you being fake when you code switch? And examples of people who code switch best. So I want you guys to think of that and people who come to mind when you think of code switching. So
Break that down for our listeners.
the definition that I found online of code switching can be defined as the use of more than one language or style by a speaker within or discourse or between different situations. Code switching occurs mostly in bilingual communities. Speakers of more than one language are known for their ability to code switch or mix their language during the communication. So when I read that, I was like, that's not what I had particularly in mind. It is in some sense. So when I read it, I was like, dude, Latinos have been code switching since like the age of 4 or 5. As soon
Since
as you go into
birth,
school.
really, yeah.
So you speak English in one language at school, and then you come speak Spanish at home. So that's just one example. But I think it's more of that. I think it's also to do with the way you present yourself, the way that you dress, the way that you talk, and the way you handle certain situations, and how you express your behavior. So pretty much those are things that I think of when you code switch. What about you, Maddie?
I definitely think of like circumstances, like our nature, at least for me as a bilingual, is to like translate everything in my head from Spanish to English. So para mí se hace más fácil to speak in both. But I also know that like depending on circumstances, it changes up. So I love that you're bringing us the topic of like, can we still be authentic while we're code switching? Like, can you still be real?
Right. I want to play this video real quick that I found online of George Lopez, kind of give an example of what.
Old school.
Yeah, right? Can you guys hear
You
it?
could vote English as the official language, but it'll never work. Because we're always going to speak Spanglish.
True.
It's too late. That's all we've talked in our house for years. ¿Qué pasó, tía? I went to the store to buy those zapatos that I like, pero estaban gone. Los shoes amarillos, sí, estaban todos sold out.
Talking to your mom?
Right. So that kind of gives you an example of what code switching is, I guess, in this definition. But in the work environment is definitely where I want to talk about as well. And Anna, you are an educator. You've been a teacher, a dean, a principal, and now you are higher in your rank as far as your title is now chief of staff. So code switching to you, what does that mean to you as
Position of leader. Like a leadership position.
As a leadership position, yeah.
So it means a lot of. I know it's a.
Get closer to the mic
it's
or
a
move the mic towards
controversial
you.
Topic to a lot of people because some people believe that you should be your authentic self at all times and you don't need to code switch. The world just needs to be prepared for you. But in all honesty, our world and our values sometimes are not. I mean, westernized values are not always aligned with people of color, and so I think that we have to learn how to code switch. I mean, me personally, I'll talk about my personal journey. I've had to learn how to code switch when it comes to communication, like in my family and with my tias and my tios. Like we communicated, we're loud, we're very blunt, and some parts of my family, other parts of my family are not, and very straightforward and very just like we just like say what we mean and then we make up. And I think that in the workforce, you have to speak in a certain way. You have to have a courageous conversation, quote unquote, in a certain kind of way because it's not always received the same way. Even the way we dress, the way we talk, I might talk to my friends and I might be like, hey girl, what's up? And drink. And then you're at work and you're like, oh, hi, how are you doing? Like, and I think regardless of how you feel about the topic, like we all code switch to some extent. I mean, what do you think, Alex?
Yeah. Definitely. Like I would never show up in like without makeup to Nordstrom's because I have been not what am I trying to say? They wouldn't come to me and ask me, if I needed help. And so now, ever since then, I just don't. I'm always dressed nice, and I always go because I don't want to ever feel like, looked
down upon.
Yeah.
Not down upon, but like I didn't exist. That's basically
like you're putting out there what you want back.
Yes.
Right. And then sometimes like even the way we speak, right? So like you speak a certain way, they think, oh, you're not as smart, or you can't write a certain kind of way, or you can't lead that professional development. And then, so this is right. I think I'm just reading right now, Ashley put for Blacks, it's definitely more of a grammar and suppressed culture exercise. So I think for some people, if they don't show up a certain kind of way, others perceive us as not being good enough at our job or not being able to present our role as much. And so part of my struggles is how much do I teach that as a principal and as a teacher to my students at a very young age to code switch, right? Because that's how they navigate. It's not to say that it's wrong, but they code switch and they come to the schools to like switch, but not to feel shame about it.
Yeah. Right.
It's almost like when you're bilingual, you got to be proud of speaking 2 languages. So when you code switch, it's like your ability to create a more efficient or positive interaction in that circumstance. So sometimes it's necessary, and it doesn't mean, for me at least, that you're being fake. It means that you're being professional. It means that you are attempting to get out of a certain situation what you need to. You're being efficient, and that requires code switching. No puedes andar hablando puro español with somebody that cannot speak Spanish.
Yeah, that's kind of rude too, I guess. It comes off. So like if there was 2 people that speak Spanish, but then one is a non-Spanish speaker, I feel it's kind of rude when you only speak Spanish. That's me, my opinion. I think you should be able to include that third person in the conversation. And if you want to translate words for them, that if you like Spanglish, that's okay. It just makes them feel part of it. But Lupe, she actually is on here. She says that she works in the Bruin community, and she keeps her hood side at a number 2.
At a 2 out of 100 or out of 10?
Out of what?
Yeah, we at 2 out of 3, but it's true. You have to, you know yourself, and sometimes you're like, man, I wish I could say something.
Right.
But it's not going to get you what you want out of that situation to go there.
Kathy says that she works in the bougie district in San Francisco as a Latina in tech sales. And she says, I do have to code switch a lot just so that my clients don't second guess my knowledge.
Right, right.
Damn,
Grammar.
that's so real.
So until and so that's real.
Yeah.
And until like our culture, our westernized culture catches up, with people of color and says, this is okay for you to show up as your authentic self. We have to teach our young people, and it's sad, we have to teach our young people how to show up to make others feel comfortable around us. And it doesn't question our knowledge. But I think that's where the imposter syndrome comes from. Like, then we start thinking, well, am I not smart enough?
Do I belong?
Do I belong here? Am I supposed to be leading this school? Am I supposed to be teaching these kids? And usually, like, when I was teaching, like, I'm probably the only person of color in, like, an all-white, and I'm seeing all these comments on all-white community of at work. And the higher you go up in your ranks, and I know, Alex, you've been promoted, so you get less and less people of color at that top. And you feel like you represent a whole mass group at that point.
Have you ever found yourself code switching? Like, I think you want to share the story that you just told us the other day?
I'm going to try.
Don't cry.
No crying. So...
Do you want to say where you work, or?
No.
Okay.
I work.
But you're a nurse.
I'm a nurse. I work for healthcare. And I have... so it's flu season, guys, so get your flu shot.
Get your flu shots.
And... So I went in to give a flu shot. My manager's like, patient in 6 needs a flu shot. So I walk in there, and I find the lady in the chair, slumped. So I call her name. She doesn't answer. Call her name again. Doesn't answer. So the first thing I go is to go feel for a pulse. I just want to make sure she's alive.
Of course.
I don't know. She's not answering. So as soon as and this is an older white female, and I go for her wrist, she screams at me, "What the heck am I doing? Get the hell out of here. Get away from me." And then she says, "Didn't you see it? I was in a hypnotic state." I was like, wow, excuse me, you scared me.
Scared me.
And so I said, okay, I left the room.
Right.
So the doctor saw her, came back to the room, and then my manager's again, patient's ready for her flu shot. So I go back in there, take a big deep breath, and I'm like, okay. So I walk in there, she's like, "How dare you wake me up when I'm in a hypnotic state.
What would your regular self have said to her?
First of all, I was like, are you kidding me? like put a note that you're going to be in a trance. Don't walk in or something. But, I said, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah.
But my, as a nurse, I am trained to respond. And you didn't answer. And my first thing is to make sure that you're okay, that you're alive, that you don't need assistance.
Right.
And I apologize if my action caused you any grief. I completely apologize. And then I said, but I'm very impressed that you're able to be in a hypnotic state
that
within
whole
minutes.
thing.
That was a code switch because the Alex I know would have been like,
I'm like, girl, you better back up.
No.
You lucky. You lucky I didn't stomp on you. Yeah.
Who are you talking to?
Now you out. Now you out.
She would have been clapping with her hands.
Yeah.
Right.
She would have smacked her.
Some forced CPR.
Easily, I could have walked out of the room.
Right.
Let's talk about that. I mean, can you say if this woman was white or was
No, she did. She
Okay.
said it.
So the fact that so that's the rule, right? So like we as people of color, because we're perceived a certain kind of way, we have to code switch in order to be in the workforce to show that we're smart enough, to show when we're not angry, to show that
We're not a threat.
we're not a threat to you.
Right. Exactly.
But on the flip side, we have people who don't have to code switch back, or white males running our society who can just say or do whatever they want, and it's okay for them.
Right.
So I think there is definitely a double standard there, and that is what feels unfair to people who are people of color and say, no, we shouldn't have to code switch. So that's why, I see both sides of that, and for Alex to have been so calm in her response, that's amazing. And I'm sure a little part of you was like, I just want to slap you now.
No, because you get, I think your defense mechanism is to be angry, or at least mine is.
Right.
To get angry. But I had, been doing a lot of self-help books, and I'm like,
goodness, yes.
I'm like trying to maintain, and this is not a personal attack to my
Right.
person. and I wanted her to get her flu shot. She's older, and I could have walked out and said, I refuse to give her flu shot, because that is in my right. But I'm there to, help her as well.
And she's going through something. And I get it, like, be a kind human being in general, but it just feels like some rules apply to certain people and don't apply to others.
Yeah,
and
like, where is the privilege?
Right. Where's the privilege? Where's the implicit bias? And why do so many kids become adults that feel like they don't belong in these work areas, or they're not good enough to be successful?
So, Anna, along with that is like, do you think that code switching then is really prioritized for people of color versus perhaps our white counterparts or Caucasian counterparts who maybe aren't given these PDs or like aren't kind of fed this, like, you know what, this is what you need to do when you go to work. You need to code switch. You need to talk to people the way they want to be talked to.
Well, when you think about code switching, what are we code switching into? We're code switching into westernized culture, and westernized culture is made for whom? By whom? Right? It's not by people of color, for people of color. And I think the more that the workforce, especially in California, you're seeing it more.
It's adapting.
Is adapting and having more people of color and graduates in college and getting into the workforce. So for instance, the school that I used to lead, I'm so proud of it. It was like 99% people of color. And that was beautiful. And so I feel like people could show up as their authentic selves. Somebody could be sassy. Somebody could be angry. People could cry. Crying is okay there. Yeah. It's very community-based and not hegemonic in that nature. However, that's not the reality. That's actually an anomaly. That's not what's actually happening in a lot of workforces.
Yeah. And when I was doing this research, I read that people often judge you within the first 8 feet, 8 seconds, and the 8 words that come out of your mouth. So that's something to definitely think about. I want to go to the chat box really quick. Sharika says, for me, it's the way you act and speak depending on your surrounding. And she's talking about what her definition is of code switching. Myra, she says, I work with a ton of white people in the entertainment business, so I code switch to be respected and taken seriously. Lupa says, it took years for me to show and prove others that I am capable at their level. And Kathy says, I think it also depends on who you vibing with. So pretty much kind of like with the situation and the environment that you're in. Because I also want to talk about the places that you think you're going to code switch besides just work. Like, where else do you code switch at? You have like when you get pulled over by law enforcement.
Yeah,
we all code switch.
We code switch quick.
Yes, sir.
If you're people of color,
I don't call nobody sir, but if you pull me over,
right, you're code switching for sure. For sure, you're definitely code switching on that. So when you
Yes,
meet
ma'am.
like your partner or your friend's parents, you code switch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I always code switch my family. Always.
Yeah.
Or like your partner's family too. Like
Yeah.
you want to be on your best, because with my family, I'll do it and say whatever I want. So I'm just kidding, Stephanie.
Ashley in the chat box, hi Ashley, she goes, I just hate that people of color always have to do it. How many white people have to change anything to communicate with us? That's a good point.
Yeah.
Do you ever see that happening?
We're assuming that, though.
Get closer to the mic. What'd you say?
We're assuming that. I think I'm moving.
No, you're not on
We're assuming what?
I feel like we just assume that white people don't have to code switch. However, I feel like they do.
I'm sorry, you were on mute. I apologize.
Oh,
Keith is
wow.
I'm doing a lot. I'm the
Hey,
chat
we're
box.
learning, girl. Growth mindset.
I'm so sorry, Kosi. You were on mute. I'm sorry.
Should I start over?
Yeah, go for it.
I do feel that we just assume that because we're of color and we automatically have to code switch, and we should assume that white people don't. I do think that they do. I think that they kind of like, in our relationship with them, they take pieces and they're able to switch based on the relationship that we have with them.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
No, it does. It does.
Yeah, so
I
I
just
don't want to say that white people don't have to code switch. They do. They just don't do it as to the extremity that we do it.
right.
Yeah, so it's a different situation, but I do think that white people code switch too, and it depends on the relationship that they have with people of color.
I just want to shout out Kosi real quick, our producer of the ladies. I was gonna say the good news.
I'm
Of the-
mute.
of-
I'm mute.
I know of the Ladies Night radio show. I've known Kosi since 2002, and I'm so proud of you. She is deaf, and she is making it happen. She has no boundaries. She has
Yes,
nothing that stops her.
nothing.
She makes everything happen. I'm
No
so proud of you. Look
limits.
at you. You on radio,
Yes.
girl.
She
You
is
on
a
radio.
boss.
Trying, I'm
Love
trying.
Kosi.
So yeah, that's Kosi. She is deaf. If you guys ever meet her, make sure she can see your lips. But she just got an operation that she can hear now. So, and the first thing that she did when she got her operation was turn up the music, which we got.
Turn out the motherfucking music.
Hey, trying to hear that music.
Yeah, Jackie sent
Wait,
me a video like late at night.
Closer to it.
Jackie sent me a video late at night, and Kosi had her back to Jackie, and she was just dancing to the reggaeton, and she was just all into the music
just take things
by
for
herself
granted.
in
Yeah.
the kitchen. So yes,
Yes.
So I was going to go really quick just to give a quick shout out. There's a lot of people in the chat box. I see you guys. Hi, Carlos. And I know he wanted me to tell Anna that she's her favorite. I hate you, Carlos. I swear.
The Martinez sisters. No favorites. We get jealous.
And we got Kirsten. We got Kirsten in the chat box. Hi,
Ooh,
Kirsten.
Kirsten,
has
yes.
a show here on the Good News Radio as well. Her show is called Never Not Extra. Make sure you check her out every Tuesday at 8:00. So she says that white people don't code switch because they think that they are superior.
I disagree with that.
Code
I
switching is
disagree.
not being yourself alone. Certain people. So she disagrees with Kosi. Kosi disagrees with her on that situation.
That's okay.
I do.
Yeah.
100%.
But
I disagree.
I've had a boss that was white, and when we went out, she was not the proper person. So she code
Like a
switched.
professional
Yes.
setting or whatever.
She was hanging and talking, and
relaxed.
you know.
But I
very-
will say that, like, what I mean by code switching in the professional environment is that who they are and how they speak at home is probably very similar to the way that they speak at work, although they can code switch when they are out with us at a carne asada,
Right.
at, clubbing with the homies. But the way that they speak at home and the way that they speak at work is the same. So are they code switching for work the way that we have to, or are they just code switching for us because they think that's going to make us more comfortable?
Kirsten
But
actually
do
agrees
we
with
code
you.
switch for them?
Kirsten actually
have to.
agrees with you on that. She says that their white people usually code switch because they think that because they code switch, they're trying to be black. That's what she says.
Or like
So,
fit in or
to
feel
fit in.
comfortable.
I don't agree with that.
Kosi does not agree with that
The
comment.
thing is,
We
that
cut her off, don't worry.
you're code switching with the dominant culture into the dominant culture, because the dominant culture in our society
Still
is
Anglo.
yeah, it's still Anglo-Saxon, and I think what you're doing is like, let me speak a certain way, let me dress a certain kind of way, and to some extent, some of it is okay. You should dress a certain kind of way to work, but people of color, especially people of color who are raised in trauma, like the story you shared earlier,
Right.
or who are raised in poverty or
economic.
oppression their whole life, or bad schooling systems. They have to code switch to some extent, especially when they go to these huge universities and then into the workforce, right? Like, it's a culture shock. That's why they call it a culture shock, because they're like understanding that they do have to code switch to some extent, but then understand that their culture is still valuable, still beautiful, and still amazing.
Jason wants to say something. Go ahead, Jason.
From a male perspective in the workforce, you definitely must code switch, for the simple fact your employers or your coworkers only really know what they see on the news. They don't eat dinner with you. They don't hang with you all the time. So they really go off what the news portrays.
Right.
So when you come to work, either you can act like what they see on the news, or you step your game up, dress a certain way, talk a certain way, so they can go back and say all other races aren't like what I see on TV. Like, my coworker comes to work in a professional manner. So I would say, yes, we all code switch, but are we code switching to keep a check? Are we code switching so other people can know that our race is not what they see on TV? So there's many ways from a male perspective that you can code switch and get a different opinion. But it is ladies' night, so I'm going to side with the ladies.
Yeah, don't get us started,
Smart
Jason.
man.
It is not our burden to carry.
Smart man, Jason.
And that's implicit bias, and that's for another show.
Yeah, a whole nother show.
But that's true. But so you were saying that, so you believe that code switching is important and we should
I think we
practice
all
it.
do it until our society catches up to embrace all cultures in our society.
Do you think
today.
that'll ever happen?
I'm hoping, because the future is really changing. I mean, I think there are more people of color, and there's in California alone, the Latino population is growing, and so I think it's important to understand that either we embrace who we are and fully love it, but also understand that we should treat each other as kind human beings. But code switching to some extent is important while not devaluing who you are.
Right. Don't lose the morals. Don't live what you
from.
believe in. All of that.
Don't feel shame around it. And I think there are people who feel shame around it. Like, I'm going to be this way from now on, and I'm better than you. And that's people from our own culture, Black and Latino.
That's true, because, I mean, growing up, I don't know about you, but, like, when we were younger, you kind of felt, like, ashamed when you knew, like, Spanish, or you would speak Spanish.
Right.
So you
like,
would...
I know English.
Yeah. But also, it comes from our parents as well. I've met, I think, Maria put me on this show called Shadows of Sunset, and there's a guy on there that he just learned... Well, he always knew that he was Persian, but he said that his dad was treated so badly growing up that he made sure his kids were Americanized so that they wouldn't have to go through that. So he's not fully aware of his culture until now as an adult. So now as an adult, he is barely learning his culture and his his background and all of that. And he's like, I mean, I missed out. And so I think a lot of people can relate to that, as far as like some of your parents probably wanted you to Americanize you so that you wouldn't suffer, you wouldn't go through these things that they had to. And so a lot of them kind of lost who they were. And so that's like 3rd generations, 4th generations of Latinos. And a lot of them, we make them feel bad because they don't know Spanish. But at the same time, you don't know the reason why they don't know Spanish.
Right.
Don't make them feel bad. It doesn't take away from their identity.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Because I knew a lot of people that don't speak Spanish. They're Latinos. And I just kind of get to know why. And then I find out, and it's like they have good reasoning. But it's not that they hate themselves. But at the same time, it's like they were kind of taught to Americanize themselves, to adapt to the United States.
Right. But you don't want to make that the reason of why you make those changes.
Right. No. But I'm saying back then it was like that. But now I feel like because we're learning, we're educating ourselves, we are teaching the youth after us, and educators like Anna in that field, they can able to celebrate the differences, at the same time teach you professionalism and stuff like that, and how to behave and stuff like that in certain situations. So
right, but I feel like those are two different things. So professionalism and learning how to behave in the workforce, and just showing your kids where you come from and your background are two totally different things.
Well, who sets
and
the
we
standard?
should not.
Yeah.
But see, that's because everybody wants to Americanize their child, and that's all I keep on hearing. But you can change the tone, but still teach your kids where they come from and show them those traditions, because we were taught that. We were taught that. As kids, we had kermeses, we had all of that. Right? Even though we still code change and we're still successful, but we still taught our kids where they came from. So don't lose that. Just make sure that you teach them how to code switch when it's needed, but not to like bow down for anybody.
For another culture.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well,
I think at the end of the day, it's like, teach yourself first to love who you are. Like, I tell my team, you are enough. I tell them that all the time. I have to tell myself all the time.
We end the
I
show
am
like
enough.
that.
And so I think that at the end of the day, you teach your kids and your future generations to love who they are and to love their history.
Yeah. So.
And adapt and succeed in the society we have now. You got to be in the game to change it.
So taking away from this, code switching is not a bad thing. It doesn't mean you're being fake. It just means you're adapting to your environment, and you're just being professional when it's needed and stuff like that. So, I gotta wrap up this this topic because we're getting close to the end and we're not done yet.
Wow, ladies,
I know.
we can be here for hours.
We could be here forever,
I know.
y'all.
I might have to extend the show to an hour and a half.
What do
but-
y'all think? Leave us comments. Like, do we need to go longer? Do you want us to talk
Well,
about
can we
stuff?
vote in-house as well?
No, we cannot vote in-house because we'll be here forever.
Why is Kosi beating me up because I'm taking her mic? I'm sorry.
Y'all sharing it, right? No, but we have some other words. So, Spanish word of the day. Go ahead, Mighty.
I'm going to just really quick because our producer, she's giving me the eye. I'm just going to leave y'all with the word.
Why is everybody mad at me?
We're not mad. We're keeping you in
You're
check.
just doing your job.
Thank you, Kosi.
Be fierce, Kosi. You're just doing your job.
And I love her for it. She really does
I
keep us on
love
track.
Kosi.
And we are all here with drinks and snacks and organized because of her. And so I
I'm
appreciate
on the
you.
schedule, damn it.
She's on a schedule.
She's on schedule, y'all. It's Friday. I'm just going to leave y'all with a new word of the week. So for my Rosetta Stone people's free trial, it's ganas. So the word is spelled Ganas. It's ganas. And in Spanish, it means to put in effort or to desire something. So échale ganas, to put in effort. So I think that when you use that word, just know that you're doing you, that you're putting in that effort. So if you're at work and you're like, man, what do I have to do? What do I need to do to pick myself up? You just need to remind yourself, échale ganas. Do what you need to do to get it done.
Hey,
I like
let's get
it.
a round of applause for that.
Échale ganas. I like it. Great job, Mari.
So I want you guys to use that word for this week, ganas.
Ganas.
So I'm going to go to the comments real quick before we close out. Let me see if I can try to catch up with everybody. Ashley, she says, Spanish is way more exciting than English. Speak it to me. LOL.
I mean, okay.
I just want somebody to speak it to me.
Kirsten goes, I just want Jackie to bounce that ass.
Kirsten got priorities.
Jackie.
And people are saying, yes, go longer. She loves it. That's Ashley. Sharika says, extend the show. Myra says, yes, please. Kathy says, yes. More time, please. So thank you guys so much for giving us the feedback. Jacqueline Marquez, I see you, girl. Thank you so much for tuning in, and everybody who tunes in. Thank you guys. And I appreciate the feedback. We'll consider it about extending the show, but as of right now, it's just 1 hour. And then the next segment. So thank you, Mari, for the Spanish word of the day.
De nada. De nada. That means you're welcome.
De nada. That's right. Ooh, they learned 2 words.
Ooh,
Check
hey,
you
praise.
out. Okay. And also I want to add, I want to have a segment here that has an affirmation or a quote, and I definitely want to end the show like that. So today is a quote that I found when I was doing a lot of the research in code switching, but it goes, every man and woman is born into the world to do something unique and something distinctive. And if he or she does not do it, it will never be done. By Benjamin E. Mays. So that kind of said a lot to me, especially because I have, the whole radio show. I've been wanting to do it, and I was supposed to start the show back in August, but I kept prolonging it because, I was making excuses. But I'm just glad that I'm here, and I feel like, thank you. I appreciate that, sister. It really does. But I think that this quote, I'm gonna go ahead and say that, growing as I was like getting into my 20s and my 30s, like I was like really questioning God, like, what is my purpose? Like, why am I here? Like, let me know. And I can never see it, but I definitely met a lot of people in this world that I've learned so much from. And for some reason, they all kind of shared the same advice to me. They're like, you have this light, you have this way of talking to people, of bringing people together. And so I feel like as I'm still discovering what my purpose here is, I know that I've been given this platform and to share it and to talk about different things and to just kind of grow with it. And my passion is as women, as females, empowering them. I want to, bring a different look of what women represent. And we are strong, we are fierce, and I definitely am passionate about that. And we can do so much. We can do just as much, if not more, than what men can do. Not to bash men again, this is not a man bashing show, but I definitely want to just highlight what women and what girls can do, because I have so many nieces younger than me, and I want to teach them that they can do anything, and we are stronger together. So let's remember that. And Mighty, do you have any last words for the week?
No, thank you for tuning in. Week 2, we're gonna grow this next week. Talk to us, let us know. Échale ganas.
That's right. Anna, I wanted you to go ahead and give a quick shout out. Maybe if they can follow you on Instagram.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, Jax, I'm so proud of you. Jax is my little sister. She's my best friend. My sisters are my best friends. Shout out to Sandra, who's out there in Michigan. And I just want to say, to everybody, just what you said, Jax, like, live your purpose, share your light, because the world is waiting for your gifts and your amazingness, and each one of you is amazing and awesome, and I cannot wait to see what you have for the world.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else want to give some lessons? Alex, you want to say any last words?
No, that you're amazing.
We love you, Jack.
Thank you so much for being here. I know it's usually your date night, and I really appreciate you taking some time from Jason and just hang out with your girls. But you guys have the rest of the night to hang out. But thank you for being here. Kosi, do you have some last minute words? Go ahead, Kosi.
Thank you for being here.
Hey.
I don't know.
We appreciate you, Kosi. Maria? My sister, my other sister.
Wow.
All right. Well, I'm getting happy. I just messed up Jackie's microphone.
That's Keith.
Try not to get loud.
Keith is right there.
Keith, Jackie, I love you, Keith. I just want to say that I am so proud of Mari and Jackie for starting off this show. Anna's taking a selfie, so I'm trying to suck it in as I speak.
Oh my God.
But
They did not need to know that.
didn't need to know that.
and I'm just so
TMI.
I want to give thank you to Jackie for not muting me today. I mean, I brought my quiet voice.
I'm so proud of
Yay.
you. Can we get a round of applause?
Yes, Maria.
I want to give a shout out to Sí, mija, porque tú ya sabes que venimos bien en fierros.
Mira nomás.
I thought something was crawling up my knee underneath. Okay.
No,
And one more thing, Taya, thank you for listening. I love you. And yes, I am happy and excited, and listen out for me next week.
Oh my God.
She just invited
your
herself.
show. This
Jackie,
is not your show.
We gotta talk.
I
Jackie.
muted her. I'm sorry. I muted her. She's done.
enough.
You're muted.
Pa' fuera.
You can still hear her.
I love
it.
you all. I love you all.
So I know you guys can be anywhere on this Friday night, and you chose to be here. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I appreciate you and everybody in the chat box for participating, and everybody who's just been supporting me and reposting my show. I really do appreciate all of you. So I'm your host, Mysterious Jax. This is Ladies Night Radio Show, and just remember one thing, ladies. You are enough.
Yes.
Hey, 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 hey. Don't be drinking and driving, okay, y'all?
Dile que tú eres mía.